What I eat in a day to lose belly fat. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Clean Eating Kitchen. I'm Carrie. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist, and I also have a master's degree in public health. And I am a woman in perimenopause who has gained about 20 pounds during about the last 5 years due to the hormonal fluctuations that happen in these years before menopause. So perimenopause can actually span from anywhere from like 5 to 15 years. It can start as early as the mid to late 30s and then go through the early 50s, which is about the average age of menopause in the United States. Menopause is that time frame of 12 months when you don't have a cycle, and then after that you're in menopause. So I am in this perimenopause hormonal fluctuation time period, and it's just caused a lot of different issues. Like my blood sugar has been very unstable, and then of course my hormones have been fluctuating, so I've been having more migraines, and it has been a very tumultuous period, I would say. And I feel very lucky because I've had access to a lot of research and healthcare providers and information that, I don't know, maybe perhaps other people don't have access to, but I kind of spend my days learning about things like this, and it's been so challenging. So I can only imagine that it's even more challenging for other people. So what I'm trying to do is share my tips and tricks, what is helping me, and then maybe you can talk to your doctor about doing the same thing, or you can maybe try to adopt some of these dietary changes as well. I'm going to share some of my tips, and I'm also going to walk you through a day of my eats. Of course, everybody is different. I have to follow a gluten-free and dairy-free diet because I also have autoimmune disease, and I just have a lot of sensitivities. Like, for instance, I can't eat eggs either. I don't eat soy because I have a history of thyroid disease. So everybody's different. I really believe that, and especially women. We're all unique and individual and wonderful in our own ways. So what I do isn't necessarily what you need to do, but hopefully it can give you some inspiration, and especially if you suffer from some of the same issues that I have. So one big change that I've made is really increasing my protein. If I just went about my normal day, especially because I can't eat dairy, I would probably get about, I don't know, 50 to 60 grams of protein if I was just eating, 3 normal meals. But I really tried to increase that more to like 85 grams. And maybe that doesn't sound like a lot to you, but it is challenging without consuming any dairy products, as I mentioned. So I've had to do some little tricks. So one of my favorite things is to start the day off with a protein coffee. And actually I have my smoothie before that, but when I do have my coffee, I add a scoop of collagen protein. I will link to my favorite one in the description box. And just that simple scoop of collagen protein in the coffee adds anywhere from like 10 to 15 grams of protein right there. So it's so easy. Now, I would not recommend having coffee on an empty stomach, but if you really can't tolerate food in the morning, and you only have coffee, at least add some protein, and that will likely benefit you over the course of the day. And it's just going to add to your overall protein intake. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that collagen maybe doesn't count towards your overall protein intake because it's not a complete protein, and that is true, but it does count towards your protein intake. And it also has some really beneficial amino acids that can help with gut health as well, like glycine. So I do recommend it if you can tolerate it. My husband doesn't really do well with beef collagen protein, so he does a marine collagen protein. Now, there's no such thing as vegan collagen. Don't fall for that marketing scam. You need to do one that's made from animal sources. And one cool thing about collagen is it comes from the skin and bones and hooves of animals. So it's actually helping us eat like nose to tail, which is kind of like how our ancestors ate. They ate everything from the animal or used everything from the animal. And I think that's really important and helps reduce waste and helps honor the animal as well. So I mentioned I do usually have a smoothie before I have coffee, and that's important because we don't want our cortisol to be going up and down, or our adrenaline, due to the caffeine in the coffee. So I didn't show making my smoothie. I'm going to show making a snack smoothie later on in the day as I walk through the day of eats here. But in my protein smoothie, There's tons of different protein options you can add. If you can tolerate dairy, you could do yogurt in your smoothie or milk. I can't do any of that, so I end up using more collagen protein, or I use this beef isolate protein. I like to do unsweetened in the morning. I do add a little bit of molasses to my smoothie concoction. I've shown my smoothie before in the past. If you want to see it again, I will, but it is a green smoothie, so I get a serving of vegetables. And I would say that's another tip. In addition to increasing protein, I've increased my fiber throughout the day. And that's really important because we don't want excess estrogen circulating throughout our body, and fiber is what helps get the excess estrogen out. And so it's just important to try to get vegetables, fruits. You can also add additional sources of fiber like chia seeds. I've been doing basil seeds lately. They're edible basil seeds. I make like just a little water, a fiber water. It sounds really appetizing, I know. I showed on my shorts a chia lemonade, and you could do that using basil seeds as well. But anyways, all of that is to say that, so I start my day, and I've already in the morning gotten about 25 to 30 grams of protein just with breakfast and coffee. And that is really important. The protein helps stabilize our blood sugar. That's been really important for me, but really helpful as well. So then I usually will exercise in the morning, and exercise is really important for losing belly fat. And I will say that when you lose weight, you can't necessarily just lose weight from your belly. That is kind of a myth, or I don't know what you would call it, but it's just not possible. But you can work on your ab exercises. You can work on having good posture. You can work on your core stability. That's gonna have more, so you have more muscle in the belly area. But as you lose weight, like I've lost about 10 pounds so far. I have a little bit more to go, but I have lost weight everywhere. My face, my neck, my arms, my legs, and then it's starting to come off the belly. For some reason, boy, it is really stubborn. So if you are having that experience, I feel your pain. It is challenging. So exercise is another one of my tips, and I know it can be difficult. Trust me, I know. I think we put too much pressure on ourselves that we're either going to do all or nothing. We're going to go crazy with exercise every single day, or we feel like a failure. And I don't want you to feel like that. I would say if you could shoot, if you have an Apple Watch or you have any kind of a tracker, start with your steps and just try to get more steps. Like shoot for 8,000 steps a day. And that's total, not just exercise, even walking around your house. You can log a lot of steps. So focus on that, and then as you feel more energetic, you can try doing some like little dumbbells, or I don't go to a gym. I do it all at home. Even doing a plank is great because that works your core as well. But I just use all YouTube videos. If you want to see some of my favorites, let me know and I will make a little video. So next we're going to get to lunch, and this is where I can really pack in a lot of fiber because I try to always have a salad for lunch, and then I'm also going to add another 15 to 20 grams of lean protein. So usually chicken or turkey, and I really focus on animal protein. It's also the most bioavailable. We can get protein from plant sources, but it's just not as well, I guess, assimilated into our bodies. And often plant proteins come with carbs as well. Not that I'm afraid of carbs, but when I want protein, I want to make sure I'm getting quality protein. Then I usually have some green tea and some dark chocolate with lunch. And for those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I am also taking a GLP-1 weight loss medication. And that is what turned everything around for me. I'm just being totally honest. In my journey, I tried everything to get my blood sugar under control. I tried exercising after meals. I tried taking berberine, which can help with blood sugar stabilization. I tried a fiber supplement. I tried everything. I tried, exercising more. Nothing was helping turn my weight loss around until I started the GLP-1. So I've made quite a few videos on that up to this point. If you want to see more, just let me know. I can also link to an interview that I did recently, and that I really talked about my journey in a little bit more detail. So I would say keeping sugar, especially added sugar, to a minimum is also important for reducing belly fat. So I don't have any sugar sweetened beverages. So if you're doing that, that would be really a low-hanging fruit to try to reduce sugar sweetened beverages like soda. I also wouldn't do diet sodas. You know, the research is showing that these artificial sweeteners or non-nutritive sweeteners, they're really not great for our gut microbiome, and they're not great for keeping sugar cravings at bay. And it's these added sugars and the cravings that are just empty calories. So if you are trying to lose weight, I would try to keep those to a minimum. But some dark chocolate is full of antioxidants, polyphenols, and dark chocolate is kind of one of those healthy indulgences. So I do keep, if you're on a GLP-1, I will say I do keep my GLP-1 dosage to a minimum, so I'm not killing my appetite. I really want to keep my appetite manageable, where I'm not having a lot of food noise between meals, but I'm still having an appetite. I will usually have a snack, and I'm going to show you the protein smoothie I made. But if I don't do that, I will have just some bone broth and a piece of fruit. And I just also want to clarify that fruit in general does not count. It never counts as added sugar unless it's like dried fruit that has added sugar. But in general, fruit is very healthy. It has fiber, it has antioxidants. It will satisfy sugar cravings in many cases, especially being summertime with all this delicious seasonal produce. So I would encourage you not to be afraid of fruit. If you do have blood sugar issues, you could do something like berries, which are very high in fiber and low in natural sugars. So I want to walk you through this protein shake snack that I have. And this protein powder also came from Equip, which is where I get my collagen protein. I am an affiliate, but I really love their products. I think I'm an affiliate of maybe like 2 products. I can't even think what the other one is. This is the one that I promote the most because it's the one that I use the most, and they have a lot of great sales. So this one I think is a very limited partnership they're doing with Honey Mamas. This is the bag. They sent this to me and I tried it. Honey Mamas chocolate. They did this chocolate mint one, which is actually my favorite flavor. And so all I did was mix the protein powder with a frozen banana and some unsweetened coconut beverage, because this is sweetened with coconut sugar, a little bit of monk fruit. And I was a little bit worried. Monk fruit is I guess you could say a natural sweetener. It's a non-nutritive sweetener, which normally I'm not a huge fan of. Normally I'll get like this weird taste in my mouth, but that didn't happen. And 1 scoop has 21 grams of protein, which comes from grass-fed beef protein. So I'm a big fan of this. So if you want some, they have other flavors too. I'll put a link in the description. And then for dinner, I really keep it simple. I do protein, vegetable, and a complex carb. So for this night that I'm showing, I made unstuffed pepper bowls, which was grass-fed beef, a bunch of different vegetables. I used taco seasoning, green chilies, and then some vegetables like bell pepper, onion, and then I made some white rice. I guess you could say that's a complex carb. I think it is. And then I cooked it in bone broth. So I had probably close to 30 grams of protein in that meal. And then my last kind of meal of the day is just usually something right before bedtime. And I'll have like a chia pudding, like a mama chia little snack thing. Or I'll make some granola, some grain-free granola, and with some berries and coconut yogurt. And then that gets a little bit more protein, but it more is just a little bit more calories to help get me through the night so I don't get too hungry. And as I've lost weight, as I've gotten a little bit healthier during this perimenopause weight loss journey, I feel like my blood sugar's been more stable, and I've also have lab results to show that my fasting insulin went down, my fasting glucose went down, and my HbA1c went down, which is a 3-month measure of blood sugar. So I'm very, very happy with my results. It's been about 5 months, almost exactly, since I started the GLP-1 and since I've really been on this journey. So I hope that that helps you. I know that many of us are dealing with these health issues that come up during perimenopause. We're trying to do all the things. It's really challenging because at this time in our life, many of us are dealing with like a lot of responsibilities and things, and then to have on like these health problems during perimenopause kind of come up at the same time is so frustrating. But it's just kind of life, you know. It's just kind of part of life that these things are going to happen. So I hope this offers you a little bit of support and maybe inspiration and ideas. I will link to another video that I did about clean eating on a GLP-1. If you have other topics that you're interested, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.